The Incredible Hulk will not be presented this evening.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Monday night, the DL show. Hopefully we got a good show for you tonight. Of course we do. Everyone, welcome Krellbar. Welcome back to Monday. Okay, I'm hearing some. Does somebody have a YouTube open? Krellbar? Is that you again?
Welcome, Krell. Yep, that's me
Thank
again.
you very much. All right.
For some reason, I have that on automatic mute, and it doesn't do it anymore.
All right. So there's Krellbar, folks. That was his introduction. And up top in the top right for me, we have Ryan Leary to the left, Chuck Scherza to the right. Gentlemen.
Hello. How are you?
Actually, you know what, Chuck? I kind of have you blocked a little bit. Let me get rid of that logo thing.
I'll slide over this way.
I can get rid of it. It's gone.
That's fine.
Folks, I'm here to comfort Mira Sorvino in her time of grief. Did her father pass? Did Paul Sorvino die?
Paul Sorvino?
No, Paulie Walnuts.
No, Scirocco died. I know, but Hannibal just said this. I don't know if it's something that Hannibal explain. Explain yourself.
Yeah, he was Paulie in Goodfellas. So.
Yeah, he was Paulie in Goodfellas. He was. He died today. Wow.
Oh, that's the way. He's got to be in his 80s.
He was great in Mr. Saturday. Was it Mr. Saturday Night? No, The Cooler. He's great as the heroin addict in The Cooler.
Right there.
Hey.
There he is.
Signed it.
Yeah.
You guys have a cigar in your hands. You should be doing, what do I know about the restaurant business? What do I know? I know how to order a sandwich. I know how to order a sandwich. That's all. Oh, that's sad about Paulie. Now I got to turn my back on him. A lousy 3,200. All right. So, anyways, a little background about everybody here. Chuck, you are a powerlifter. You have trained up in. What's that?
I was for a long time. Yeah, I still train, but I don't compete anymore.
Right. And your best bench was
785 official.
785. Yeah, that's a lot of weight. That's a lot of weight. And you went up and you trained up with Louis Simmons, who passed not too long ago. Yep. Very cool. Yep. Now, Ryan, you're a musician. Building a studio there at your house, I see. Yeah, look, he's got some guitars. We're gonna, the people that are in the chat are going to want to see those guitars up close in a bit. But we'll talk about that. So, as you can see, gents, these guys are smoking cigars. They are a part of my Tuesday night crew down at the White Ash, the CNX Tuesday crew. And we have a good time down there, don't we?
Very much so.
In fact, I said to them, we should be filming the conversations we have at CNX Tuesday. That'd be perfect. And then I was like, wait, why don't I just have you guys on the show? And here they are. So Chuck is an avid music fan and loves talking about music, basically, and artists and favorites of this and that. So why don't you tell them what you said to me that time we talked out? You were asking me about drummers.
Okay. Well, so let me start this by saying this. I think everybody's got their favorites. what I like to do is get where everybody's coming from based on their style of music. And we like to have talks a lot on Tuesday, as you know, about what we call the Mount Rushmore. So we'll take the top 4 of any category of musician. So when I first met Dave and I heard he was a guitar player, naturally I asked him about drums. Which
is smart because I like drummers.
And then, of course, my buddy is an avid musician as well. So we just, we kind of shot it around who we liked. And, it's kind of like you almost have to exclude some guys because everybody's going to put certain people. But then, very surprisingly, other people get left out, and that's where the debates start. And I think that's where the fun of the conversation is.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so just to give an idea, we're going to talk about this. We'll just start right away with the Mount Rushmore of rock drummers.
Mm-hmm.
And so the reason why he's saying people get excluded is because are we going to sit there and put Vinnie Colaiuta in with rock drummers? No, he's not really like a rock drummer. I mean, he's a all-around fantastic drummer, and he would definitely be on my Mount Rushmore, but not of rock drummers. Rock drummers, we're basically talking about rock band drummers that are exclusive to rock and roll or rock.
I'm fucked.
And
you can't put Gene Krupa in there. He's up there. He's not around.
Right. I mean, yeah, exactly. You're not going to sit there and put Buddy Rich in there. You're not going to put Steve Gadd in there. Hey now, Jan, welcome. Hey, Hugh. So in this pit of drummers that we can choose, I think instantly we all agree, and I don't know if Krelba does, but John Bonham would be at least in the front position on my Mount Rushmore.
He's a George Washington.
So he would be in yours then, Krell?
Yeah.
And I think you said, Chuck, that you would have him there.
I said he's a gimme. I said very much like Krell that it's like putting George Washington or
right.
And
Ryan, how about for you?
You have to have him.
Yeah, No. I mean, with me being the
you're younger than us, so I mean, it's
the youngest. That's not even in my realm of. I wouldn't even say expertise. Just somebody that I would even look at.
Right. What's Jan is basically calling off Chuck's list.
Who's he saying?
He says Bonham, Pace, Carl Palmer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, look. Right,
you know what? Though that's right along the lines of mine too.
I've
seen Pace in concert a couple times.
You would put who in there?
My fourth would be Moon. My four would be Bonham, Pace, Carl Palmer, and Moon. And
really?
I don't agree with that, but
so Kenny Isaac says John Bonham, Neil Peart, Cozy Powell, and Ian Pace. I don't think Ian Pace is in mine, guys.
So fast.
He's in mine. He surprised the hell out of me when I saw him live. He can work a snare.
Oh, Jan puts Moon in there too. You and Jan have the same list.
The reason I'm so big on Moon, number one, I was a big Who fan growing up, but two, nobody else has been able to replicate that sound. I know technically and a lot of that stuff, he's not with those other guys, but he I think was so much of his own thing that I loved it. I loved it. Granted, sloppy, it's this, it's that, it's all Phil, but I've never heard another drummer play all Phil and come up with that noise.
Oh, God, it's so hard for me because I bounce around so much in other genres,
right?
That I'm like, oh, that guy. Because I don't know if you could call Jeff Beccaro rock, but
yeah, because he's
he's all over he's all over the board. So I wouldn't say he was a rock drummer.
Purdy's played on a ton of rocks.
No, he's not a rock drummer.
I think Pert's probably technically perfect.
RL, tell Gene Krupa to give it a rest. RL, you want to come in? That's from the movie Quiz Show. John Turturro says it. Tell Gene Krupa to give it a rest.
Normally, Peart wouldn't be near the top of my drummers, but I mean, now that it's narrowing down, you can't have Colaiuta. Can we have Bozio? Zappa, Missing Persons. Beck.
Yeah, I think you can.
Maybe.
I love him as a drummer, his technique and stuff, but he just does too much sometimes, and it's.
I tell you who I think of some sleepers. Kenny Aronoff would be pretty good. I'll tell you some sleepers for me is Dennis Elliott.
Yeah,
the drummer on the early Foreigner records. I loved his drumming.
Well,
I
see,
thought it was great. I also think it's interesting nobody says Charlie Watts. I find that interesting. I don't necessarily agree that Charlie Watts would be there. I just find it interesting no one brings him up.
There's a big glaring error, too, that a lot of people are missing, too. It's like
Charlie Watts
there's
came
another
out,
one
though.
that's
but I don't think it sticks out.
Bill Bruford.
Well, that was Bruford was in mine.
Well, here's one for you, Crow. I think Bill Ward gets left out too much. I think Bill Ward's sensational.
I love him as a drummer. He's rock solid.
Bill Bruford, I mentioned in mine, Chuck, when we talked.
Yes.
The guy from King Crimson and Yes. I just don't. But then he did Earthworks, and I just think that it's bordering jazz. Although I think Bruford's absolutely brilliant.
I think that's
Yeah, but he's been mostly rock. Well, or
Cozy
progressive.
Powell's a great, powerful. Talk about another power drummer. Cozy Powell was great. Is Cozy the drummer that plays on? And for that matter, Lee Erskine.
Yeah, but
No,
Lee
not
Erskine's
Erskine.
the jazz
Not
guy.
Erskine. What's his last name? That's not Erskine. It's Peter Erskine. What's Lee's last name?
Oh,
Lee. What's the drummer that played with Ozzy?
Kerslake.
Kerslake. Lee Kerslake.
Lee Kerslake.
Erskine. That's Peter Erskine. Lee Kerslake is outstanding. Underrated.
Let me shift gears very hard, real quick, because it's the ADD brain.
Hey, Kenny Isaacs. Good to see you, man. Go
Who's
ahead.
the best guitarist played with Ozzy? I think it's a no contest.
He's gonna say Randy Rhoads.
Nope.
Really?
Zach Wild.
Nope.
Oh, perfect.
Zach
Really?
Wild.
Holy shit.
I actually like Jakey Lee better than Zach
Jakey
Wild.
Lee's fantastic
Wow, man.
too. Listen,
Zach Wild's one of my top. That's the whole reason why I started playing guitar.
You know,
Zach Wild.
Zach in his early years, I liked him a lot better than now because he's a wash, a wah,
Wait a second.
and like when he plays, it's wah and chorus, and you can't really see what he's playing. It's all the fast pentatonic stuff. He used to be a lot more than that when he was younger.
No, but I think he's fantastic. I love Black Label Society.
That's what I was going to
Love
say.
him.
Zach and Ozzy or Zach and Black Label. Those are two totally different sounds.
And then he also did Zach Sabbath, right? Where he was doing all
Zach
Sabbath
Sabbath.
covers. The world today is, although his voice is so affected by Ozzy, because he sounds like someone trying to imitate Ozzy, but I still love it. I don't even care.
look at it this way.
I love the way Zach plays.
Not knocking Randy Rhoads in the least because we all heard him first. I think he's romanticized because he got cut so short.
Sure.
Again, not knocking him.
No, he's a
I still
fantastic
love him.
guitar player. Fantastic. Also,
think-
the who's the guy we talked about? Wait, never mind. Go ahead. I'll get back to it because I brought it
No,
up
I was gonna
yesterday.
say, I think he gets, I don't want to say overrated. It's not the right word, but I think he gets romanticized. He's not Jakey Lee, and he's certainly not Zach Wild, in my opinion.
Yeah.
There's a
when
great
you die
song-
young, that happens.
Yeah.
There's a great song by Dweezil Zappa called "Helpless," where the solo is split between Warren DeMartini and Zach Wild. And if you want to hear how good Zach Wild is, listen to that solo because I think he eats DeMartini up for lunch.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I do. I do. I think he's.
Oh,
that
believe me,
good
I
on-
think he's great. It's just that, in later years, it's like you see him do a solo, and I go, "What the hell's he playing? I can't even hear what he's playing."
Well,
Pitch harmonics,
Well,
chorus.
but see,
That's
but same with Van Halen. I saw Van Halen on that Tattoo tour, whatever. He sounds like crap. That tone was terrible. And to Chuck's point, would any of us have a lower or higher opinion of Van Halen if he died after 1984?
Oh, he'd be. Oh God, he'd be even more. I don't know, famous, revered than he is now. I think.
Absolutely. He
I
did
agree.
nothing.
I
What's
agree,
that?
but I would say if he died before 1984, I think that's their weakest album.
But there's some great playing on it, though. Girl,
He does, but I mean, compared to the other stuff, it's not. It's like mind blowing.
It's a weak album, but it was their most popular in David
was.
Lee Roth
It
as far
was.
as radio. So
It was. I just look at it like, to me, Van Halen's like the first
I
five
haven't heard
albums,
it.
and that's just like bam, bam. It's like a big combination that just smacks.
Oh, hold on. If you're going to get rid of 1984, you got to get rid of Dive It Down because Dive It Down has 3 songs on it. That's it.
True, but
yeah,
they're
what
good.
the full bug,
Hang 'em
hang 'em
High.
high, full bug, and secrets I like.
I thought
and
they did a
Secrets,
good job
exactly,
covering
because-
it. I did.
You can tell that Senorita, what's the name of that song? Little Guitars.
Yeah.
You could tell he wrote that song after he played "Won't Get Fooled Again."
Yeah.
Because it's basically him playing "Won't Get Fooled." Even the ending, dun, 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 dun. It's like, oh, really? The guy in the black shirt is Chuck Scherza. Johnny Kramer asks, "Is the panel against the Pantera reunion?"
I'll tell you, no, I'm not. I know that's been a topic everybody brings up with the Pantera reunion. I think even though Dimebag's not going to be in it, I'd still see. I mean, it's almost like that's
Dimebag can't be in it. They'd have to exhume him.
yeah.
Same with Vinny.
Right,
Vinny Paul.
But I mean, I still think like that show Stranger Things, right? And in Stranger Things, now Master of Puppets is all of a sudden exploding with that, right? Because of the show. So I think that now with the new generation of kids getting into music, why wouldn't you bring back something that was from back then? Even though it's not the starting lineup, right? You're still bringing it back into today's, role of musicians and music playing. Just bringing kids.
I'll say this: if Phil Santinselmo, is that his name? Santinselmo?
Anselmo. Phil Anselmo.
Yeah, Anselmo.
Phil Anselmo. Who the hell Santinselmo? Okay, so Phil Anselmo. If he sounds good and he's singing good, and Zach plays with Zach's tone, but playing Dimebag's riffs, I'd go see them.
It's going to be fantastic with them playing. I think he's going to be able to hit it perfectly.
Because I always loved their sound, except for the sound of their guitar. It's just a little buzzy for me. But
can Phil sing anymore? I mean, as far as actually
that's the question. I mean, is he going to go out like Coverdale and just say to Zach Wilde, "Play while I"?
Can he do Cemetery Gates?
Yeah. I mean, Cemetery Gates is right up Zach's fucking wheelhouse. All the squeaks and squeals. Hey now, Tim Thomas. Jan is asking if any of us heard the new Deep Purple guitarist McBride.
I'll tell you what, I heard some of this stuff, and it's listen, that's a perfect example, like you were saying about Pantera. Deep Purple's had so many lineups.
Yeah.
That you almost have to give them as like separate bands, even though they're one band.
Fair.
We got a buddy of ours wants us to go see Judas Priest with him.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I've seen Priest twice, in my opinion, at the absolute height of where they were. As much as I love Priest, I don't know if I can consider it Priest without KK Downing.
Like, is Painkiller even going to be?
It's only Halford, the original. It's
and
Ian Hill isn't in the band anymore?
I don't think so. Is he still playing bass?
That's got to be the same bassist.
I don't know.
Well, they still have Scott Travis from Racer X.
Yeah,
as the drummer.
I'm not sure. Again, I'm sure it'll be fantastic, but having seen, Priest in the mid '80s, I haven't seen Deep Purple in the mid '80s. It almost has to be a letdown to go see it. It's like Godfather 3. It
what
doesn't.
Do you think? What do you think Deep Purple's best album is with the famous lineup?
In Rock.
Let me ask that question again. Chuck, what do you think the best... No, I'm kidding.
Well, I mean, put it this way.
In Rock, what's on that? Child in Time?
Well, because the middle of that... Well, put it this way. If you cut off 5 minutes on either end and you just listen to Richie Blackmore go off, I mean, you can debate that's as good as it's got as far as heavy stuff goes. That whole...
Well, you can debate it.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to win that debate, but you can debate it.
Well, I mean, put it this way.
Come on. First of all, who do we think we are is a fantastic record? And there's more than one song on it.
Well, I think with Purple, you get about a 5-year period where, like, every...
Hey, Brad, what's up, man?
Guitarist here. Hey, Brad.
Go ahead. Say it again, Chuck.
I think if you took Purple from, let's say, 71 to 75, you can glom that into a box set and consider it one big album.
Well, I think you mean 70 to 74.
Whatever the years are.
Yeah, because isn't In Rock 1970? Fireball 71, Machine Head 72. Oh, no, 73. Who do we think we are? 73. 74, I think, might be Burn.
74 is no, because I think, well, you might be right. I thought I thought Blackmore originally left in 75. I could be wrong.
No, Blackmore left after Stormbringer, 75.
Mm.
That's Stormbringer.
Mm.
Yeah, they got Tommy Bolin to replace him.
Right.
Andrew Collins, welcome. So yeah, that's crazy. The only thing I know in rock is Child of Time. I thought, weren't you telling me last time that you thought Fireball was great, or is that just the song you love?
I thought the song Fireball. If you want to hear Ian Pace, listen to Fireball. And
He's great on a lot of
stuff.
stuff.
You'd be hard pressed to hear better drumming than you hear Ian Pace on Fireball.
Yeah, I've seen Pace a few times in concert, and he's always impressed me on drums. So
now, when we talk about drummers, obviously we're clearly avoiding the heavy metal guys because I think those guys could be in another echelon. Like, I mean, the guys like Joey.
What I'm going to get into, like, if you're going to talk about
Danny Carey from Tool,
Danny Carey, Vinnie Paul, Mike Portnoy,
Joey Jordison, Jay Weinberg. You know,
Jordison's my favorite in the metal scene.
Right, so that's what I mean. We're talking about Mount Rushmores, but when you're talking about Mount Rushmores, what era?
We have to get rid of metal because that's a different conversation, you know. But I guess of the rock drummers, we're basically talking about like 70s, maybe early 80s rock. Who was the drummer that played with Dio?
That was Vinny the Peachy, yeah.
Vinny Appice played on after he left Sabbath and went with Dio?
I think so.
He was wait.
I don't know.
Yeah, he was with Sabbath and then went to Dio. And
he was with Sabbath, I think he's with
King
Sabbath on the Heaven and
his
Hell
brother
tour.
played with his brother.
Didn't he do the Heaven? Didn't Vinny play on the Heaven and Hell? I don't think Bill Ward toured Heaven and Hell. I think he played the record and that was it. And then they replaced him. He didn't want to go on the road. He was having problems.
Yeah, I think so. I thought you meant the band because Appice, I think he just followed Dio, except for Rainbow, which was a little bit of Cozy Powell.
Yeah, and I think Cozy also played in Whitesnake, didn't he?
I think he played on a Sabbath record too. I think Cozy Powell played on Trashed with Ian Gillan. And
how did Cozy die? Was that a car accident? Was he the car accident guy?
Yeah. Yes.
Cozy was great.
Yeah, Cozy played with
Emerson, Lake and
Palmer when it was Emerson, Lake and Powell. That's when I saw him.
He could drive a band. He just couldn't drive a car.
Put up bump.
Well, see, I think Powell, you got to put in that bottom category of the sound is so unmistakable. Like
he hits them like a ton of lead.
You know?
You know who else hit them really hard was Nick Menzer in Megadeth. That guy's drums were loud.
You couldn't really tell it on the Rust in Peace album though.
So Megadeth though is rock, not metal?
No, it's metal. You can't mention Nick in that. Yeah. He's not in that. That's definitely metal. Yeah, I mean, but you guys like Ian Pace a lot. I don't think. Now, you know what? It's the recordings of Deep Purple to me, and even though they're Martin Birch, they just don't sound good to me.
Well, see, that's the question. I think if there is a criticism of Bonham, how much of it is Page putting that sound out, and how much of it's Bonham?
Well, I think Bonham was recorded good. I just don't think Ian Pace was recorded that well.
He wasn't, but what I'm saying is
very thin-sounding drums. The whole production was thin on the drum side.
Yeah, but I think a lot of those drums, Zeppelin was the only one that really put that in front. As opposed to if you look at what I think is Zeppelin's best stuff, which is 1 and 2, his sound is not the same as it is in later records when they really put him in the front.
Well, I think 4 and Physical are my two favorites. But let me just say this because I heard it yesterday on the radio, and Krell, you were there yesterday. I hate the song "Say What You Will" by Fastway. I just want to put it out there. I fucking hate that song. The vocals are horrendous. He sounds like the singer for Great White, and you can clearly hear the vocals are doubled. It's like that weak voice is so weak that there's 2 of them, and it still sounds like this. It's horrendous.
But he was a guy they just picked up. They saw him in a bar or something like that. He was 19 years old, and they said, "Oh, his voice is good enough," and they used him on the album.
Yeah,
I think it's a decent enough song, bud, for what it is. I don't think anybody.
I like the riff.
Yeah. It's not horrible. Put it this way, it's better than most stuff you get now.
Yeah, but I mean, now it's like I don't even listen to the radio now. I'm listening to, I listen to a lot of, I used to listen to a lot of Ozzy's Boneyard when I'm in the gym, but now I figured out that Sirius bought Pandora. So you can just sit there and if you want to hear like songs like Megadeth, you just say Megadeth radio and it plays so I hear Pantera. I'm hearing like every like-minded stuff to Megadeth, which is great.
That's cool.
That's good.
Yeah, it works out better. I'm not hearing, because, I'm listening to Ozzy's Boneyard and I'm hearing, take it easy, man. And I'm like, how the fuck is Foghat on Ozzy's Bone? When I think of, because they're like, the Prince of Darkness approves this song. And then they play Slow Ride. I'm like, Ozzy approved this song? Let me put Sharon on the phone. Let me talk.
Sharon?
I gotta have a word with Sharon. What's that? I missed the last comment.
What's that?
I don't know. All right, but anyway, so drummers, we basically got. I mean, we know your four. I can't really come up with four. I had Bruford, I had Bonham. Probably I would put Cozy Powell and maybe Dennis Elliott. I love the drumming on the Double Vision album. I think there's a lot of great subtlety stuff on Lonely Children, on the song Double Vision. I just love his fills, and I like the way he plays. Is he as good as Mark Craney? No. But Mark Craney.
Chris Elliott.
Mark Craney doesn't count.
The man under the stairs.
Chris Elliott?
Yeah.
Woogie. So yeah. Anyways, so then we go to your rock singers. Mm-hmm. Who was on your Mount Rushmore for rock singers?
Well, my first one.
Chris Cornell.
Chris Cornell, Soundgarden.
Great. Brilliant.
I can agree with that. He'll be in my top 5.
On 3 albums. On what's the Super Unknown, Bad Motive Finger, and on Down for the Upside, his voice is hard to beat.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just speaking vocally, not even the song wise, but just vocally. Nigel Thomas. It's got to be an English band. His name's Nigel.
Making plans.
Ooh.
For Nigel.
Brad says Elvis is on his Mount Rushmore of rock singers.
That's rock and roll versus rock. That's rock.
It is rock and roll. Paul Rogers is a good one. Paul Rogers would be good. You know who I always liked was the guy, Naughty Holder of Slade. I believe in woman, my oh my. Dave Byron. That's the guy from Uriah Heep, right?
Yeah, Jan, you nailed it for me, Freddie. Farouk Balsara.
Yeah. Freddie Mercury. He's fantastic. I also think Lou Gramm was fantastic.
You know what it is with Queen?
Lane Staley. I agree with that. Lane
Staley's fantastic.
Lane Staley. Well, before actually during the drugs, because once he started getting really fucked up, then everything started sounding a lot better.
The thing with Lane Staley, the guy they got now sounds just like him. I saw him with him without Lane Staley.
Thousand Chains.
Put it this way: if you want to talk like rock, I think Elvis is like a different era. It's like Little Richard, Elvis. That's different stuff.
I can't even think about it.
I think if you want to
still rock, it's the original rock.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. But I would differentiate rock from rock and roll. I think that's just more rock and roll. I think if you want to say rock singers, you got to give Mick Jagger his due. I think you got to give Bon Scott a lot of big hat tips. Believe it or not, you were talking about David Gilmour before. I like Gilmour's voice when he sings. I think
great.
He's got a very unique voice.
Yeah.
But Dave can tell you, I'm not that big of a Rolling Stones fan, so I like a few songs here and there, but it's I'm not that down with Jagger.
I'll tell you. Brad says Jagger. As you guys were talking, I saw the Stones live twice in the same year. I saw them at the LA Forum in the summer of 2006, and Jagger's voice was so fucking good. I could not believe that he was singing the way he was singing. Everything was sounding like the record. He was just perfect. I see him in December at Dodger Stadium, and it's the live Jagger that everyone knows. jumping jack flash. It was terrible. But I will say it's because when he's playing a stadium, I think he's trying to throw out the energy and everything. But when and the show at the Forum, they were playing deep cuts. They played Faraway Eyes. They were playing all these songs where it's like he was pulling back and he sounded fantastic.
Yeah, that wasn't a Jagger impersonation. That was a Bill Blazejowski impersonation.
Who?
Michael Keaton, Night Shift.
Yeah, there you go.
Jumping Jack Flash.
So I don't know. I mean, again, you gotta look at what
Type of rock.
Yeah, what do you?
Yeah, we kind of went from singers, and then the word frontman came up.
Yeah.
So we're just talking singers. I don't think you can deny Lou Gramm. I don't know how you
I
would.
love Lou Gramm.
Especially those first 2 albums. Even, you know what, let me correct that. The first 3 albums. Because even though I don't think Head Games is as good as the first 2, vocally, there's a song on there called Blinded by Science, and I think he's just fantastic on it. But most of the songs on that record are getting a little bit more to the wimpier foreigner sound, where the first 2 albums, they were a powerhouse band. My brother says Donald Fagen.
Steely Dan's their own thing.
Get that man a wire.
I Steely Dan, like I put Elvis, they're their own category unto themselves. I don't put them in any kind of category. They're so fantastic at everything. I don't think you categorize them as anything. I think they're their own category.
They're like jazz pop. They're definitely a rock band, but they're like jazz rock. But I wouldn't say he was a great singer. I think
You said Steve Walsh. Steve Walsh is great from Kansas.
Oh, Steve Walsh is up there too.
One thing
And
we're talking about though is just men. We haven't mentioned any female singers either. We're talking about front men. Pat Benatar, fantastic singer.
she was good.
Yeah.
But is she as good as John Elefante from Kansas, the replacement singer? I don't think so. I love Elefante. Let it be known.
Look at his face. Look at his face.
Oh, who's the guy from the Guess Who? Burton Cummings. Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ian Wilson was great.
Yeah, I was going to mention that.
But is she great? Here's the problem I have when people, I don't know. Is she as great as these other guys? I don't know. She was very good. And every woman back in the 70s and 80s when they were playing bands, they would be like, can you sing like Ann Wilson? Like, I think every girl was asked, can they sing Ann Wilson? And unfortunately, when you go see live bands and they have a girl singer, they're going to try to do a heart song, and we have to suffer through it.
So what about Stevie Nicks?
I like Steve. Well, see, I mean, she's like a singer-songwriter type. I don't
Goat Dust Woman.
But no, I love her. I mean, I love her. I also love Christy McVie.
She's not bad.
Christy McVie would be top 5. He wouldn't be in my Mount Rushmore only because, and let me just state this, Zeppelin's my favorite band, but Robert Plant is not my favorite singer. I even think that in his prime, Coverdale in his prime was a better singer.
Oh, he was awesome.
Put it this way: you talk about women singers. I think they tried to have all the women singers in the 70s and 80s kind of sound like Robert Plant. Going back to
that's what Ann Wilson was trying to do. They were big Zeppelin fans.
Yeah. Again, Plant, I like him, but he's not in my top 4 or 5.
Dom Hall says Annie Lennox. I think she's good. She's very good.
Fantastic, but she'll make you cry if you listen to Annie Lennox. But,
You know who's a damn good singer? I don't like her musical output. Was Cyndi Lauper. She had a hell of a vocal range.
She did.
And if you see her sing stuff other than her awful 1980s output.
Richard, they say that about Christy McVie, but they say when you get a few drinks in her, just kidding. He says she's boring. I love you Make Love and Fun or Over My Head. I mean, her voice might be Melissa Etheridge. Brian,
oh, God.
How dare you?
Brian, you've got to be trolling.
But see, I was much more in the 80s. I was like a fag. So I liked
Thank
you. I liked Kate Bush's voice a lot. I love Liz
she's
Fraser
making a comeback now.
I was just going to say, her too.
Right, Liz Fraser from.
Who's the girl from 10,000 Maniacs?
That's Natalie Merchant.
Natalie Merchant. I liked her sound with 10,000 Maniacs.
Yeah,
I'm not putting her in a great category, but saying I enjoyed her with them.
Right, and I was a big Cocteau Twins fan, and I liked Sinead O'Connor, and I liked the Sundays and the Cranberries. I dig all those bands, but are they great singers? I don't know.
How about Doro Pesh from Warlock?
There you go. Doro.
Oh, we are.
Rel.
Okay,
And you want to be on the show, and you want to be my latex salesman? Sorry,
You know what my
Cher is
favorite?
good.
Wendy O. Williams, my favorite.
The Plasmatics.
I remember seeing her on Tom Snyder with the
Yeah.
She was
Plasmatics.
great
That was the
until she
first time
opened
I
her
saw the
mouth.
Plasmatics.
Yeah. I remember seeing her. They were on the show. They were on SCTV.
Amy Lee.
Yeah, somebody brought up Amy Lee. I was thinking about her too.
Amy Lee.
They were on Fridays too, I think, too. That show
Yeah.
Fridays.
Yeah,
as well.
they were. They were. I remember seeing Wendy O. Williams, and my eyes fell out of my head. I'm like, this is just.
Well, she was half naked, so you know.
Hey, Hugh Caldwell, what is Enya's sister's name that sang for Clannad? She had a great voice. Really great voice. You guys would probably know Harry's theme if you heard it, but her voice was, and she was Enya's sister. Remember Enya?
Yeah.
The New Age.
Everybody knows. How can you forget?
Yeah.
I know
But her
this-
sister, well, she was part of a very musical family, and they had a band called Clannad. And then I think Enya left the band, and this other girl, Hugh would know. Yeah, Clannad was awesome. I love them. I mean, they're a Celtic band, but her voice was fantastic. The girl from Evanescence, doesn't every European,
Yeah, Amy
what's that,
Lee.
Nightwish? What's that? Is it Nightwish? That sounds like that too.
Nightwish.
Yeah.
Exactly what you're talking about. Nightwish.
See, there you go.
I know
Andrew
Nightwish. Yeah.
Andrew Collins says Patti LaBelle. See, if you talk about women singers, for me, first of all, guys, I'm Jewish, so Barbara Streisand. But it
The
just
soul singers.
it just happens at the bris when they cut your dick and they say, "Now you're a Barbara fan." I was like, okay, you get people who need people. So Barbara to me is a great singer. I loved who's the woman that sang "Friendship Train"? Gladys Knight was fantastic.
Gladys Knight,
Like,
yeah,
I
I
love
was
those R&B singers.
Dionne Warwick. I liked early stuff.
Fantastic when she was
Aretha
with
Franklin.
Yeah.
Yeah, Aretha not so much for me.
What? She had a great voice.
Moya Brennan. Thank you very much, Hugh Caldwell. Moya Brennan. Fantastic for the singer in Clannad.
I think we
Oh, I love Rick Emmett. Rick Emmett live at the US Festival is great. I've been watching a lot of his stuff.
Yeah, I think he was the first. That voice, he was the first guy to transition or something, man. He sang. Now he friggin' sang.
So Shane is saying his first concert was Wendy O. Williams on the WOW tour in 1985 in Denver at the Rainbow Music Hall.
Wow.
Yeah, I like Laura Nyro. Adele is Lonesome Dove's pick. Well, that pick will be with you alone. I'm not a fan of her voice. Just doesn't do it for me.
I'll tell you what, though. Like I said, I don't have her stuff or anything like that, but I think it's right now it's her and then the rest of the field.
What's that?
As far as today's stuff, I think there's Adele and then the whole rest of the field.
Yeah, well,
no, there's a lot of pop.
no. What's that girl's name that sings that every time you hear her sing, you want to slit her wrist? You want to slit your wrist.
Doja Cat, there's Billie Eilish, there's
Billie Eilish. That's the one.
I got a young kid, so I know all that stuff.
I don't think her voice is
All of
that
it.
great.
I know all. No, it's the whole aesthetic now is that if you're not on Percocet or like Vicodin or whatever, the pill popping thing, and that makes your voice all sound, just monotone. That's what the whole sound is.
That's hot.
I have a student, and she has a Billie Eilish poster in her room.
Oh God.
And I see this poster, and I'm like, how big is that rack she's trying to hide?
Sweater puppies.
I'm like,
Here's
Steve,
one for you. It's going back. How about Debbie Harry?
I love Blondie. The
I
E
love
to the
Blondie.
Beat
I love
album.
Blondie. I won't consider her a great singer, but I mean, she's the best singer in Blondie.
I'll give.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, she's not an all-time great, but she's got great stuff.
Tom says
The
Lady
music-
Gaga, I'll give that.
Yeah.
The songs on like Blondie's "Eat to the Beat" album. you're gonna hard to find a band that has an album as good. That's a great record.
But then do you categorize Blondie as rap or punk?
Well, she
or
did one of the first.
yeah.
Well, someone said Lady Gaga. I will say Lady Gaga's got a better voice than Madonna.
Oh, Madonna, people
Brad
were-
says free tampons and a box of chocolates with every Adele album. Actually, I thought when you buy a box of tampons at CVS, they give you the free Adele album.
Life's like a box of chocolates. Pull out a fucking tampon.
Right. Hey, I
You never
brought
know
the
what you're gonna get.
I thought you were just getting tampons at CVS. Well, they gave me a box of Whitmans and an Adele album with it.
All right, so we'll go back to rock singers. I mean, I don't know if these guys. I guess they're metal, but you gotta love Bruce Dickinson.
Oh,
Love
Oh
it.
yeah.
You gotta love Dickinson, and I could even theoretically put him on that rock singers Rushmore. I mean, I can't think of something that he did that I didn't absolutely love.
Yeah.
You know?
So the age-old question is Maiden or Priest?
Oh,
Priest.
fuck that.
I go with Priest.
Priest.
I don't know.
And-
Early Priest.
Hold on. I heard both of you, but I didn't hear Ryan.
Yeah, I love Priest, but I love Maiden more. Absolutely.
I go with Maiden.
I love Maiden more.
So it's 2-2.
I love Maiden too, but it's
With Ryan.
Priest means a lot more to me.
Let me say this. In the 80s, and I'll say this, British Steel,
Yeah.
Point of Entry,
Yeah.
Screaming for
Screaming
Vengeance.
for
Human
vengeance.
Vengeance.
3 phenomenal records.
Right in a row.
Number of the Beast.
You can put
Hold it. Killers. Number of the Beast. Peace of Mind.
Reminds their best
Uh,
record.
Power
What's
Slave.
the Power Slave? Somewhere in Time. Seventh Son. And then for me, Matter of Life and Death, which is way later in their career, for the win. I just think they're
They might have more stuff, but as far as impact, man, I'll tell you what. If you heard like Heading Out to the Highway, or
Great.
like Breaking the Law,
great.
Living After Midnight to Hellion, that stuff knocked your head off.
I
man.
told you.
That was-
Hold it. You hit a nerve. You hit a nerve in Krellbach.
I have never, ever liked the song "Living After Midnight."
What?
Why not?
Man, come on.
Why not?
From the day I heard it, don't ask me. I just don't like it.
It's like one of the
It's not like I like it and it got played a million times. Then I listened to the album and stuff. Oh, you know that song "Living After Midnight," and I heard it. Oh, that song. I hate that song.
Bro, can you push your mic away just a hair? Because it's like
okay.
it's making a weird
Okay,
yeah.
that's
So
better.
I think it's good. I think Maiden just consistency. I don't know. To me, they're a better band. And don't get me wrong. I love Priest. You can love both, folks. It's possible to love both. But
That's a hard question to answer. That's absolutely a hard question.
just imagine if this were the Brady Bunch. Iron Maiden would be Jan, and Judas Priest is Marsha. Marsha, you're a good worker, but Jan's a little bit better.
I mean, to me, it's like saying which eye do you like?
Yeah,
better?
Marsha's hotter.
Right.
Yeah, Marsha's
What-
definitely hotter.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't
Nancy
knock
Straight.
either one. I don't think you can knock either one.
No.
That's the wrong answer there.
Well, Ram It Down sucks.
Well, like, would you put the Trooper against? You didn't like Living After Midnight, but Electric Eye. You can't.
Oh
Like,
no, Electric Eye destroys the Trooper.
I don't know, man.
Oh my god.
But does it destroy
love
To
the
Tame a
ball.
Land?
Give me this. Electric Eye is one of my favorite songs in general, but when paired with the Trooper, I don't know. I think I definitely like the Trooper more. I don't. That's like he was saying. It's hard. It's almost picking like which eye you want to see out of for the rest of your life. I'm not going to pick one. You know.
That's such a
But
tough.
if you had to, because the mafia caught up with you, and they say to you, "We're taking an eye."
I don't think there's a wrong answer. I think it's like if you said Brady or Manning. There's no wrong answer there. You know, you got
That's
to
a
win
wrong
one
answer.
game.
Manning.
You
gotta win one game.
Is going to blow up.
I
now.
know.
You know what? I'm a Steelers fan, and it took Brady going to Tampa Bay and proving himself down there to finally have me concede that. Yeah, he's the GOAT. Because that was the whole thing, because it was all about Belichick's system. I said, he's got to go prove himself somewhere else before I say, and he did it. And so I ate my
There we
words.
go. There's a perfect question for us. Okay, we're saying Priest or Maiden, Brady or Belichick.
Can you really ask that question? I mean, it's a coach versus a quarterback.
Yeah, if you can only pick one.
Brady.
You've got to start an organization. You're the owner of the organization. You get one pick. You can only take one of those two. Who would you start your organization with?
Brady, easy.
Well,
You can have
that's tough because if Brady went to Cleveland Browns, right? You know, it's like that system's all as great as Brady was. I mean, like I don't think he would have been able to do shit for him. I think Belichick would have been able to do stuff for almost any team. He can get the best out of bad people. But he's been making stupid decisions lately. It's like I think he's thinking too much.
He's old.
Hey, Dwight, welcome. Yeah. Now, we've had, by the way, this talk, by the way, could go down every damn road because I believe the last time Chuck and I sat together and had cigars, we were discussing the best Batman villains from the TV show.
Throw it out there, bud. I think it's a great way to do it.
Oh yeah, Burgess Meredith, the Penguin.
I tell you, like when you listen to "You Really Got Me" from Van Halen, when he goes, "Girl," the first "Really Got Me," you really got me. He plays the Burgess Meredith lick. It's like Christ. That sounds just like the Penguin.
Well,
Burgess Meredith wins everything in any discussion. It's like there's no discussion where Burgess Meredith doesn't win.
Well, I got to give you the Penguin, but I got to tell you, if I had to pick one, I got to pick Frank Gorshin as the Riddler.
The Riddler.
The Riddler.
Oh, I thought he was so. This guy was the Riddler, just like Meredith. You thought was the Penguin, but then just the balls on Romero. I'm not shaving my mustache.
I was just gonna say that it's like
Cesar Romero's so great.
He didn't commit to that role enough. He wouldn't shave the mustache off.
Cesar Romero's genius in the movie The Strongest Man in the World, where Kurt Russell plays Dexter Riley. Yeah. I'll say this on Batman, King Tut, Victor Buono.
Yeah.
Oh, I love him. He's also in a great episode of. God, he's an artist. Let me try to think of.
He was in a couple Perry Masons where he was really good too.
Oh, he is in a couple of Perry Masons. I can't remember if it's Columbo now, or is it? No, it's not Columbo. It can't be Columbo because I would remember the episode right away. It has to be. Was it Cannon? Well, Banachek.
Somebody said we're all weightlifters. Well.
Oh yeah. Maybe it's Banachek. By the way, great show, Banachek. Absolutely.
Good. I didn't see a ton of it.
I haven't seen that much of it either.
All you have to know is George Papad gets the ladies.
George Papad, great. And everything.
Speaking of shows I didn't watch, I never watched the
Watching you guys smoke, I'm like, shit, I only had one today.
Well,
I only watched a little bit of the A-Team. That's because I wasn't born. So.
Yeah.
Hey, my brother's here.
He's been here for a while.
Yeah, John, you know any of these guys? They're in Warwick.
John asked earlier, anyone see Maiden open for Priest? I believe that was the Number of the Beast tour, right? On the it was Number of the Beast for Maiden and Screaming for Vengeance for
I don't know.
Remember the Black and Blue tour? Black Sabbath and Blue Oyster Cult. Blue Oyster Cult was opening for Black Sabbath.
Good band.
I was on the Heaven and Hell.
I saw Blue Oyster Cult. They were good.
Which also brings to the point, Bobby Chenard was a great drummer.
From Billy Squier?
Played on Billy Squier's Don't Say No album. Mm-hmm. He had a heavy hit like Bonham. Okay, Hugh Caldwell calls it off. Mount Rushmore guitarist. Now, Hugh, in your guitarist, are we open field?
Yeah, that's hard.
Or is it rock guitar players? Because if it's open field, it'll be easier and harder.
It's going to be messy.
Yeah, that's going to be messy.
Because the George Washington for me would be the Alan Holdsworth.
Yeah, he'd be on there. It's like King Edward's got to be on there.
Fez says just left-handers.
Oh, well. Like I would put Stevie Ray Vaughan. Love Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Really? In your Mount Rushmore?
I love Stevie
Paul Gilbert, definitely.
Is Iommi a lefty?
Yep.
I think Iommi's a lefty. If we're just doing lefty,
definitely
right?
is.
My first one's Zach Wilde. That's easy. What else would I put on there?
Yeah, so
For me, it's got to be my favorites. It would be Van Halen, Alan Holdsworth, Steve Wariner, and maybe Uli Roth.
For me, it would be
Hey, Andy.
Eddie Van Halen, Jason Becker, Paul Gilbert, and geez, I've got an open slot there. Yeah, I mean, I love
like
Holdsworth. I would put Holdsworth there, but you put Holdsworth there. I think I'm going to go down the line and figure out someone else to put there.
But I'm putting up people that are favorites to me. Like, I think,
yeah.
Let me just say this, because I've had a conversation recently with somebody. We talked about favorite guitar players, and I said, without a doubt, Eddie Van Halen is my favorite rock guitar player. Without a doubt. Do I think he's the best rock guitar player? I think Paul Gilbert eats him for lunch. I think there's a lot of guys that eat him up, but Eddie's my favorite.
Did I say Thompson?
So, Richie's another smoking player.
Yeah.
My point is so where I love Eddie for that thing, you know, like if somebody says to me, Randy Rhoads is my favorite guitar player, better than Eddie. And I'm like, all right, I can see why you would like him better than Eddie. They're completely different styles. There's a different thing. Do I think both guys are on top of the game of all games? No, but that's not the question. The question is, what's my favorite? So it's the same thing when we said Mount Rushmore of drumming, because Chuck openly admitted he doesn't think Keith Moon is a great drummer, but he loves him, what he did in The Who, and he's a huge Who fan.
Yeah.
Between 83 and 86. 83 and 86, I would put Yngwie on there. I love Yngwie's.
Malmsteen.
Thank you, Brian.
Brian May's
really
a good
not
one.
The best.
Do you gotta put Jimmy Page in the conversation?
And Jimmy Page.
In the conversation.
He's actually, probably, you know what? You get rid of Uli Roth. It would be Jimmy Page, Eddie Van Halen, Holdsworth. Well, even Holdsworth, I think, is the best. I don't know if he's my all-time favorite. You know what? Holdsworth's out. Page is in. Page, Steve Wariner, Eddie Van Halen, and Uli Roth.
See, I got not a soft spot, but a real big spot for Iommi too. I mean, just any combination he played with, he's.
I got to tell you, we were listening to this yesterday. What's genius is this. When he goes, that lick alone, he's just very musical.
Oh, he's missing part of a finger. He innovated with a piece of leather because that's what he came up with, and he came up with that tone. You know?
What are you playing? Grell, why are you playing that?
Oh, I thought it was another voice. It's like I hit the wrong button.
Yeah, don't play music because it'll, especially recordings with Ozzy.
It wasn't supposed to be music.
They'll shut us down live. They will. But yeah, so like just that, you know. Then he goes back to. I just think he's really like, you know, they're being heavy. They're playing this monolithic style of music, and at the same time, he's still playing melodic stuff. I think Iommi's completely underrated as a player.
So do I.
Because I think a lot of people's playing is here, not just the fingers. You know, it doesn't, like, people sit there and they'll be like, what's the guitar player for White Lion?
Vito Bratta.
People talk about Vito Bratta, and they're like, he was the closest to Van Halen. He did this. Then why do his songs stink? I hate those songs. I hate that band. So if he's so good, why do I fucking hate those songs? Like, I don't care. When you can take a player and say, like, well, Iommi's sloppy or Iommi's this, but you can't stop listening to those fucking songs and those recordings.
See, that's what I think.
I don't like all the White Lions. I like a couple White Lion songs, but
you do?
Just a couple. Nothing
But
wrong
when I
with
said
it.
I was
I
a
don't
fag
like
in
my-
the 80s.
But anyways, as far as the solos, I think Brado was great. And, there was someone on one of these YouTube shows. They said, yeah, I like Vito Brado when he was Van Halen. Thing is that people get into this thing where like they see a guitar tap and all of a sudden he's a Eddie ripoff. I mean, Vito Brado did more with that technique beyond what Eddie did. He played
But it's an
melodic
extension
solos.
of that technique that Eddie did. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't live in a world of absolute like.
Yeah, exactly.
He did what Eddie did. That's what happened to him. So Joe is not. He needed the rest. Yeah, Andy Dion agrees. Making the songs is what matters, and so to me that factors into the guitar playing, which is why I think Zach was so good. And we talked about Zach. I think one of Ozzy's probably the best album outside of the first two with Randy is No More Tears for me.
No More Tears.
Because I think No More Tears is a great record. It's back to Ozzy being every song is good.
Yeah, I thought it was too.
And then when you hear like what's Blessed Hellride album? What's that? Stillborn on that record and
Yeah, that's Black Label.
Stoned and Drunk. I love that record. And
Mafia.
Mafia is a great record.
Yeah.
He's great. I mean, but he's writing decent songs, And even I give Pantera a hard time because of that guitar tone is so fucking terrible to me. But those riffs, that riff in Cowboys from Hell is fantastic.
About Tom Morello.
I hate him.
You hate him? Really?
I hate him as a person.
Well, how about like Tobin Abasi, right? From Animals.
Yeah,
as
Tobin's
Leaders.
the thing I hate about Morello is they put him on a pedestal and he's a communist. Other than that, I don't really care.
I like how he uses different like I don't know, aspects of playing. Like it's not so much something that guitarists don't already do, but something that he brings to the table is like he'll use a friggin' screwdriver and like start rubbing it on his guitar.
But he does it on every solo. He has to make a weird sound.
You're right. But as a guitarist, it himself, I think he's still pretty good.
But then you could sit there and say, well, then the edge, it's like, listen, real people that are great at their field, no matter what it is, drumming, guitars, bass, whether you do whatever you do for a living, whatever you do, you always want to show your strengths and hide your weakness.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Morello, when he does that, is hiding his weakness, that he's not a great player. So he's forced to be creative, just like the Edge. The Edge is like, I can't play. Let me throw a couple of delays on and I'll stop. And I think it's brilliant. It's awesome because it's different, but it's out of necessity, because otherwise you're going to see him play and you're going to be like, what's this guy doing on stage? They weren't, and they develop that style.
Well, that's the problem with all, like he brought up Dickie Dale once, and how his tremolo playing was just so amazing. But as a guitarist, it's tremolo picking. It's not anything that's
right
crazy to do. But outside of all of the pedals and add-ons that you can do, now that everything's digital, so most of the sounds aren't even out of your guitar. It's whatever they make it sound like, right? So that's why I think for me it's hard to pick a guitarist.
That's an interesting point you just brought up, because I want to bring it back to the beginning. All guitar sounds, you're not hearing the guitar.
Right.
The pickup takes, I'm just saying, but a pickup takes that signal and recreates it electrically. Now you're going to go put it into, let's say we're going to be in Black Sabbath. So you're going to put it through a treble booster. All right, so now it's going through a whole complete circuit of this little transistor circuit comes out, and now it goes into the face of the amplifier. Now the amplifier is going to, change the voltage and everything. There's so much going on that none of the signals really the sound of your guitar. So digital, whether it's digital or analog, it's generally the same thing. It's not, it's a made sound. I mean, you could listen to Dick Dale playing a guitar and then listen to Eddie Van Halen and go, how are they playing similar instruments in similar amplifiers? Because they are very similar.
Yeah. Well, that's why I like Zach Wild. Zach Wilde does a lot of like the country stuff too. He picked up on like the finger picking and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
The Albert Lee stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so like it's as a guitar player, he knows a lot of stuff, a lot of different stuff. I've seen videos of him in like his garage and just spending 2 hours a day just going crazy on the guitar, picking up all these different styles, using different things. And I think that a lot of guitar players, just specifically nowadays, don't even do that. I mean, like I said, I have young kids, so like I listen to all the stuff that they listen to, right? Because I'm playing it in the car all the time. I'm constantly hearing it on YouTube, on the TV, and it's like the stuff I hear. It's not even like you don't even know who that person is. Secondly, they don't even know how to play their instrument. It's just something. It sounds so terrible that I don't think there's any musicians that are coming out like in their 19, 20, 21 years old, just starting out. They're not even musically talented. It's just something that makes money, and that's what is nowadays. It's just musicianship is totally just dove hard.
Ricky Rosario says he hasn't heard anyone mention Jimmy. I'm not a huge Jimi Hendrix fan.
No.
I'm not a huge fan. I don't.
My father brought that up too.
I think he's a great player. I think he's an underrated rhythm player. I mean, his rhythm playing is awesome. I mean, like, he can do his lead stuff and everything. And I mean, that's great in its own right, but it's like his rhythm playing.
Lonesome Dave brought up Buckethead. I love Buckethead.
I love Buckethead.
Seen him a couple
Lonesome
times.
Dove. Yeah, that's Robert. We talked about, speaking of Van Halen and Vito Bratta, how I love Van Halen and not Vito Bratta, and Vito Bratta was just kind of like a copy of Van Halen, but the songs weren't as good. I feel like Robin Trower, to me, was a copy of Hendrix, but the songs were better. So I'm a big Robin Trower fan because Band of Gypsies is good, but I love Bridge of Sighs. I could listen to that record front to back every day and be like, all right, I'm happy with this.
That's the one
Bridge
I
of
own.
Sighs is
That's
a great rock
Trower.
record. What's that?
That's the only Trower I own is Bridge of Sighs.
Yeah, I just think that it's, again,
As
we're
far
talking
as-
about, and clearly Hendrix is a much better player than Robin Trower. I'm in no way saying Trower's on Hendrix level. But if you said to me every day of the week, we could listen, maybe I might throw Boulder's Love in. I do love that album.
But remember how we talked about that conversation about older musicians, now that a lot of them are deceased, being brought into today's, society of musicians? I don't know if Hendrix would be able to keep up with anybody or the music that's being played now. I don't think he would, even if he was alive, just because his style of music was.
He was changing. He played a lot of different. I mean, again, he died in 1970, right? September of 70. So he was taken right in the middle of, and he was 27.
Would you have 3 records?
Yeah, keep in mind he would be 79 years old right now, so he wouldn't be doing much of anything right now.
Well, that's not. I know some guys that are in their 60s, 70s and still playing crazy.
Three albums with the experience.
But they're not really maintaining the relevance, though.
Right, fair. But I think, what, now that I say that, if Jimmy was around in the 80s, 90s, who knows? I mean, he might have been a grunge drummer. I mean, a grunge guitarist,
Could have been.
He could have done any. That's the thing. Is some of these guys were taken away, and so I don't try to compare them to let's put it this way: is the solo to Mr. Crowley still as good as any solo today?
Yeah,
I love that solo.
I'd say yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think so.
Both of them.
I'd say yeah.
Absolutely.
I think so.
Easily.
But that's what I was saying earlier when I said in rock. Blackmore on Child in Time is off the planet.
Again?
I'm telling you, Richard Blackmore. I'm telling you. He took that classic or operatic, I don't know what you call it, the Beethoven stuff, and just made scales sound rocking.
Here's my issue with what Ryan was saying, and not that I'm taking full issue with it, but let's go back to Judas Priest. Hellion Electric Eye How amazing is that solo in Electric Eye?
Blows my mind.
One of my favorite solos of all time.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now let's go to the song Painkiller.
Yeah.
How horrendous is that solo in Painkiller?
Well, with the attempt at sweep picking, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Painkiller's all the drums to me. Painkiller's whole is a
Oh,
drum
absolutely,
song.
absolutely.
But the
It's
lead
not-
guitar in the thing sounds like, I'm like, what the hell is he doing? It sounds like a kid at Guitar Center trying to sweep pick. I'm like,
But
this is
what I don't-
horrendous.
Well, I don't
The same
understand.
guy 6 years later stepping out of what's his comfort of how he plays, trying to be current. It to me, what I'm saying is sometimes the current isn't the shit.
The crazy thing is that was probably the best take. You know, he has so many
That's
times to get that take, and that was the best take.
Hundreds of hours in the studio. Yeah.
right. But that's what I'm saying is like, so is the moderns is the new, because the newer stuff is probably in line with, like, even if, let's put it this way, let's say you could go back in and you said to Yngwie, we want you to recreate the Painkiller solo but play it flawless. Is it still as good as the solo in Hellion Electric Eye?
No.
So to me, it's more, again, the songs count, but the musicality and the soloing,
Structure of
Those-
everything. Yeah.
those solos meant something. What's the solo we heard yesterday? And we were discussing Dave Murray and Adrian.
That was what was the friggin'
Is that Number of the Beast?
No, it wasn't that. It was
What's it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was because I started singing "Oh, when the Saints go marching in" at the beginning.
What a great solo that is too. And in the beginning, he's just kind of doing trills, but it's really musical.
Well,
And that's my problem is musicality has gone by the wayside. I mean, you talk about modern music and you hear these songs, and every song is like just a major or a minor. There's no harmony in the songs anymore. You know, when we were kids, we were listening to like, on the radio, we would hear,
10cc. Oh, how long is
this has been going. Right, well, your friends and your fancy persuasion don't admit that they're part of this. You know, you have all these beautiful, there's harmony in this. That's a rich chord, you know, or any type of song that has any chord that has like a, flat nine or like. That type of thing. There's a song by Olivia Newton-John. You know the song? Yeah. Come take my hand.
Oh, Magic.
You will love.
Yeah, I recognize that as soon as you stop playing the chords.
Right? But these beautiful chords, then it goes. Da, 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 I've been. And then at the end of the song, when she goes like, you have to believe we are meant. Look at that chord. There's just the chord structures from back then, or like what's that one? And that song when she goes, when but here it goes. We got your E minor 7 flat 5. A7 flat 9. Fucking
Down.
in a pop song. That's in a pop song. Those chords. Today, every pop song is 3 chords.
Yeah, it's the 4-chord song. You can make any song with 4 chords.
I taught a song today. I think it was Ed Sheeran.
Axis
But
of
the song
Awesome
was like
proves that.
it was like
Oh, Axis of Awesome. That video is hilarious.
this was the 4 chords, and then all he did was he changed it. In the chorus, he goes, and it was the same. And I was like, this song.
182, it's all the same. It's forward and backward. They just change it
Yeah,
up.
it stinks. It stinks. I feel like you guys remember The Critic with John Lovitz,
John Lovitz.
and he goes, "It stinks."
Well,
That's how I feel every time someone goes, "Oh, you gotta hear this new song." It stinks.
They try to go for a sound rather than like a piece of a song, like a sound. I'll give you a perfect example of that. Talking from the the drum aspect. If you listen to Rock and Roll by Zeppelin, right? It's I Hear You Knocking by Little Richard. Just listen to the drums.
Yeah, it's just a 1/4 vibe.
For no, Little Richard. No, but it's fantastic.
It's sampling.
Yeah.
I mean,
I wouldn't even call it sampling. I would just call it like your version on that.
it's stolen.
Yeah. But it's just a simple rock and I mean that's the whole point of the song is it's just a simple 1/4/5 boogie woogie rock and roll, you know, like a
What I'm saying is they're demonstrating their version of that type of, like I said, you know, talking about Bonham. Bonham was big with this swing, big with that boogie woogie, like 40s kind of, you know, rumble style of big band sound almost.
right.
And I think he just put that into plug that in to combine with what Page was doing. And
It's so true. Someone just is that Elroy
Elroy
just, because you know you got a song like what is that
Maybe I'm missed.
yeah, right? And maybe I'm afraid of the way you're with me all the time.
Well, that shows it's great just from the opening chords. You know exactly.
One writer. You look at a song today, it's 3 chords, the whole song. There's 15 names taking credit for the writing of the song. I'm like, you need 15 guys to write 3 chords and fucking 2 lyrics? The lyrics are horrendous. It's like, what are we doing here? Because a producer's like, well, I brought in this sample of this thing going gut, 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 gut. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? Look at
How do I
today's
get
songs.
that
Go-
job?
Yeah.
Well, most of it's on like a MIDI keypad that somebody's just fucking around with, and then they take that sample and they're like, all right, this is amazing, and that's it, and that's what kids believe. They think it's awesome. My kids play me some music, and I'm just like, I have to turn this off because I can't fathom it anymore. I can't listen to it. I'll blow my brains out.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. Some of the music that happens today is just completely horrendous.
I 100% agree with that.
I mean,
And I would say the same for TV, too.
Oh, there's no TV anymore. And
Has there
TV
been a
There's
show
some good
like,
series though.
Has there been a show like Cannon? Thank you.
no,
You love Cannon.
I do love Cannon.
Oh, he's so great.
I do love Cannon.
He's so great.
You know,
I do this gig at Martini's in Plymouth every Saturday night. When I see the owner, I don't see him every weekend, but when I see him, he usually comes up to me and starts talking to me about Cannon. He loves
I
Cannon.
love it.
He's unbelievable.
Well, think about it. Basically, TV today, it's all formulaic. There's not one funny show on TV.
No,
There's not
there
one
hasn't been a
isn't.
funny show since Seinfeld.
You know,
Seinfeld.
I'll tell you what.
I mean, when that show Louis was on, it wasn't bad. Louis C.K.
Oh yeah, he
Had
was
some funny moments.
Well, you liked American Dad. American Dad's hilarious.
Oh, I love that. Well, that's cartoon. But that's only because I love Roger, which is based on Paul Lynde.
Yeah.
Sammy.
But see, I think they put in cartoons so they can get away with stuff. You couldn't put a show with people on there doing that and saying that without somebody losing their marbles and getting offended.
Oh, like
and,
that show Big Mouth. I don't know if you ever seen Big Mouth, but I had to shut that off. Big Mouth is just, it talks all about very, it's almost like South Park on crack. It's horrendous. But
That's saying
bad.
something.
It's bad. Yeah, it's bad. Like, it's hilarious, but like, it's geared towards kids, and it's just like, no.
See, to me, when you see Big Mouth, I think of Morton Downey Jr. You
Oh,
know?
right.
Morton Downey Jr. Loved him.
God.
Loved him.
Yeah. What was the other guy's name that was kind of like the white-haired version guy? Rebecca De Mornay's Wally George.
I don't remember him. I don't think.
Remember him? He was Rebecca De Mornay's father. No? Nobody
No,
remembers Wally George
no, sir.
alone?
Where's the crickets thing?
Yeah, I was just about to hit that.
There it is.
Does anybody in the chat remember Wally George? Am I living in the Twilight
I
Zone?
probably know him by face, but
Looks
Yeah.
like Game of
I
Thrones.
can't match your name to a face.
Now, there's some good shows. I'm not saying that there's not good shows. There are some good shows. But
You know, I can't watch Game of Thrones.
I haven't. I have no idea.
But you know why I can't watch it? I can't watch shows where when I'm watching it, I'm like, what time period is this? Has this guy taken a shit and wiped? This guy must stink. He's in like 9 fur coats. It's in the middle of the winter. He's not getting a decent wipe. I can't watch this.
Well, you know, you
Now he's having sex with this girl. That room must smell like feces and sperm. I want no part of this show. And that's why I don't watch Game of Thrones. Thank you, folks.
They use that short. They use that short guy for toilet paper. There, that little. What's his name? His name escapes me.
Death of a. Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he's in everything. I'm about to say midget, but I'll take it.
Yeah.
It's
Peter something.
Pete
Linkridge.
Yeah, Dinklage. Yeah.
Peter Dinklage. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like they used his character for toilet paper back then.
I'm just telling you. That's why they say the Vikings were so easily conquering Europe back in the day, because those guys bathed. And so when they would come in, the women were like, well, let's not be hasty. I might go with this guy. Doesn't smell like the bathroom at Penn Station. This guy's all right. That's what they should be saying on those shows. At that kind of like that would have me watching it when the woman's like, this guy stinks like Penn Station. I'd be like, I'm all in. I'm watching.
Did a cow shit in here?
Exactly. Right. That's when one of them walks into the castle and says, Harry's still smoking those stinky cigars? Fish for dinner last night? Did a cow take a shit in here? It's all Kentucky Fried Movie, folks.
Nice.
Unreal.
But there are good shows, good series. Terminal List is good with Chris Pratt. I just got finished watching that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, we're watching Peaky Blinders. Everybody was talking about Peaky Blinders.
I heard that's good. I still haven't started watching that. The Boys. The Boys is a great show.
Tough getting into, but once we got into it, it's pretty good.
I watch Better Call Saul. That's about it. Otherwise, I don't have the time to get invested into these shows. I don't care.
I watch Saul. Only because I watched Breaking Bad, and then I watched Saul, and you know what it is? It's a lot of stuff doesn't stand up. Like, it doesn't grab you like that, Yeah,
I just don't have. I don't want to put the time in to sit in front of my TV and get invested into these shows when I'm like, there's a woman stuck in a dryer. And her stepson has to help her get out. I'm like, this is far more. This is far more enthralling.
Okay,
sorry.
So here's a question. Put this out to the board, everybody. So, what was it? Saturday. It was about 99 with like 99% humidity. I finished work. We won't get into what anybody does for work. All I want to do is I go in Cumberland Farms. I'm buying ice water. That's it. I'm in line. I get a Gatorade and an ice water. And there's this guy and this girl in front of me. And I would like to see what you guys think should happen here. And I'll give you my whole theory of it. They're buying scratch tickets.
Oh, yeah.
And they're scratching them. And then like just turning them in and buying another one, like holding up the whole line.
Oh, God.
You got to get the hell out of the
Get
line.
out of line, go to the little lottery booth, scratch your fucking tickets, and then get back in line.
They have the tables for that reason.
This is...
Hey, hold on 1 second. Ricky Rosario says he had a piss in a Texaco bathroom last week. Based on the smell alone, the guy who was in there before had less than a week to live.
Yeah, you know what, Chuck? Those are the assholes that win $1 million on the fucking scratch.
I'm telling you. I'm going to see this girl on like the news in like 3 weeks. She won Powerball.
Also, how come when it comes to the Powerball, nobody can just have a fucking win?
Fixed.
Right? It's always like, we threw away the ticket. We had to go. It's like, can't you just fucking say you brought the ticket? You hit the number.
I found this in a wall at my grandmother.
Yeah. We lost it. We did the laundry. We thought we put it in there. We thought it was lost.
I personally know two people that one missed Mass Millions by one number, and my ex's girlfriend down the street there hit 200,000 on the Powerball, missed it by one number.
Wow. See, I think they're fixed. I think they check the person's lifespan. And it's
You look like some 80-year-old lady.
They're not giving it to some kid who's like, today's my 18th birthday. His uncle gave him a scratch ticket and ta-da, or he gave him a lottery ticket or something. You don't see that. You know what I mean?
Always an elderly couple.
Yeah.
Give me $2 million, I'm retiring. I'm fine.
Yeah. That's what I always say. I only need one. And then I'm good.
Well, look, this lady worked at the DMV for 70 years,
Yeah, she wins 60 million, drops dead,
Yeah.
Exactly.
leaves no beneficiary. It all gets spread to her family, and everyone gets
Yeah,
like
but they
$2,000.
can take it all in one pop, though.
So
Yeah,
here's a question.
that's the wise thing to do.
Yeah, if you win, you got to take the money.
Yeah.
Even take the money and be done with it. I don't trust them.
If you take the annuity, you get more money. But the thing is that
It's worthless.
there's going to be some dumbass excuse down the day. We saw, what happened in the past in 2020, where the government goes haywire. You'll get to a point where, oh, sorry, we can't afford it this year.
Yeah. Well, we
No.
can't. Yeah.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? Fight him in court? It's like, yeah, take the money while you can.
I knew some kid in high school. His mom won the lottery. She won the Powerball, and she won I think it was like $60 million, right? And took it all. And then in 5 years, she was broke. And I'm like, how do you go broke? Like, you have no money? What did you do with all of that money?
You know what happens is people get that amount of money. They don't realize it. They take a chunk of taxes out, but you need to manage that money too.
Yeah. Hire somebody
And,
that you have
And
the
I'm
money.
not just talking about budgeting what you spend. I'm talking about, keep in mind, you still have to pay taxes
Taxes
even
on
if
that.
they took money out. It's like there's still taxes that have to get paid. And yeah, it's.
Invest it. I don't understand how you wouldn't think that would be a smart idea.
I don't know if you remember that guy in Cranston. I think one in the 90s, and the first thing he did was buy a golf course. He was a truck driver. He bought a golf course, and he says, "Yeah, now my buddies can golf with me all anytime." You can do that without buying the golf course.
$40. So
Yeah. You have any idea what it takes to maintain it? Do you have any business knowledge to maintain it?
Same thing with people that buy houses. They buy that massive house, and then just the
Living paycheck to paycheck.
Right.
The last thing I would buy is a car. Last thing, like all these guys, I got a car for every day of the week. I got a classic this, I don't drive it. I got a guy who polishes them. When he's done with the line, he goes back to the beginning, polishes them again. I mean, I get it, but if you got that kind of money, why wouldn't you at least do something, like you said, put it to work for you?
Buy a business. Get a business.
Buy something that's going to keep it rolling over, keep it coming in.
Tom Melvin.
What's that?
I was answering Ricky Rosario. Tom Melvin.
I don't know, Tom Melvin.
Not much. No, I'm just answering his question.
So what I think they should do, right? If you win the Powerball, let's say, you bring back the Mr. Donut model, which is what I call it, right? You get a 24-hour donut shop that you can smoke in, and you should be able to basically gamble in it, I would say. I would say.
Yeah, well, you definitely have to label as a cigar bar in Rhode Island. No, it can't. You can't say it's a Mr. Donut or whatever you want to say. It'll have to be Joe's Cigar Bar. We serve donuts.
Laundromats make crazy amounts of money for no reason, or car washes. I've seen a lot of people make a ton of money on car washes.
Yeah, laundromat's a good investment. You know, it's a good investment. Friggin', I mean, like if I had the money you get these buildings that get a band they can't fill. Friggin' storage.
Yeah. Yep.
I see buildings around here. I go, man, if that ever opens up and I can get that and just make it into storage, because everyone's always got to store their shit that they buy that they don't have room for.
Mm-hmm. That's true. I got a buddy in Maine just did that. He was a corrections officer. He did his time. He got out. He got into storage units. He's got 2 locations now, making money hand over fist, auto pay. Doesn't have to leave his house.
Yeah.
His maintenance is whatever his HVAC guy says it is.
Secondary income. Your money makes
Yep.
you money. Just,
And there's very little management.
Well, yeah,
It almost runs itself. I mean, what do you have to? Well, yeah, you got to pay the electric bill for climate control and stuff, but that's with anything. But it's, I mean, there's nothing you have to do. It's a space that people store things in.
Yeah,
it just runs itself.
Yeah,
My brother says plastics.
Plastics.
What kind of plastics?
like dildos.
That's from the movie
The Graduate. Yeah.
And they also
You're trying
it's
to
also
seduce
made
me,
reference
Mrs.
in
Robinson.
it's also made reference in Valley Girl.
Yeah.
Plastics.
And when I first saw Valley Girl in the early 80s, I didn't get that reference because I hadn't seen The Graduate yet. So
Oh, really?
yeah. Oh, I mean, when that came out, I was only 14 years old. 14,
Did you
15.
guys finish those cigars?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I didn't see what it was. What cigar was that?
Street taco.
Street taco. It was the barbacoa street taco.
Okay, and who makes that?
That is made by, if I can see it.
Well, he's gonna put his eyes on.
Yeah, hold on.
You know.
Let me take a look here if I can spot it.
Rojas Barbacoa Street Taco.
I think street taco is the brand. I mean, we can look it up.
I have to put
Speaking
it
of street
cigar.
taco, J-Lo got
Rojas
married to
looks
Ben
like it's the
Affleck
brand.
again.
Oh, they sell them at Famous. Hold on, let me take a look here. Rojas Street
pieces.
Taco.
Yeah, it's called a Barbacoa.
I wonder if
I
they...
got yeah, Rojas Street Taco Barbacoa Toro. Yeah.
Oh, they just
Yeah,
sell the
that's-
street.
The thing, Elroy, the thing about land investment is that you have to, if you buy a ton of land, you have to monitor it because there's homesteading too. If someone goes on that lot of land and they maintain it for a period of time, they own that land.
They own it.
So it's like, so land can be a good investment if it's a plot you can actually monitor and, keep people off of. But
You know,
yeah,
I went to get my my real estate license, and there was so much involved in just real estate, and it brings up land a lot. And there's so much more involved in it than you even realize. Like, unless you're hiring, if you like, a lot of people talk about what they have money, they want to buy these multifamily units, and the only way that you can actually make money is if you buy one of those multifamily units and you hire somebody that's going to handle all of that, like property management. They handle all of that stuff for you. That way you don't have to handle that. You make money from that. All that money, you buy a secondary property. You make money from that, buy a third property. That's how your money manages itself, right? You have that way you can wipe your hands from it and not have to worry about it. Otherwise, when you talk, we have a kid that used to work with us, and he decided to buy his own multifamily unit, and now he's his own landlord. That's going to fail very quickly, because he's going to realize that's a full-time job just in itself. Especially
because he's got to be the handyman. He's got to be everything.
Yeah.
You got to be hands off. And what you do is if you buy a bunch of apartment places and stuff, it's, one good thing you can do is like, you can have a tenant there that's pretty handy. You can give a break on rent or free rent or however that works out. And look, you're the handyman for this building. And he deals with the headaches to live there.
My brother says, I do wish you well. This is starting to sound like the Bruce Williams show. You guys remember Bruce Williams? People would call Bruce Williams and he'd be like, hey, Bruce, this company wants me to get involved with them. I put in $100,000, blah, blah, blah. He's like, what do they need you for?
Oh, yeah.
It's just, Bruce Williams, I do wish you well, kid. But it's good stuff.
Wait, Squire, there is homesteading in the USA. I know this for a fact. I mean, I had a friend that had a patch of land that he actually got because he owned a house, and he actually pushed out on it. It actually wasn't his land. He built the stable and some thing for the horses. He had it. It became his land.
Well, that's like if you pay the taxes on a property, right? That's been dormant for, was it 30 days? Something like that. You pay the property taxes on it. After 30 days, you own the house.
That's that, guys.
Yep. And another thing with land too is that, you can have it worth a certain amount of money. It's a zoning decision away from becoming worthless. It's it depends what the state does, whether zoning or like flowage rights or. I got a buddy that has land. He owned it. He was fixing it up and stuff. He was trying to sell it as quickly as possible. I forget what the law was in Rhode Island. Something it had to do with, some of the water flowing back. It's classified one thing right now where he can sell it, but after a certain amount of time, he can't sell it anymore. So he's trying to sell it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you got, like you said, you can't just grab it and cross your fingers. You got to know what you're getting into.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of the guys that make money from doing that kind of stuff is where you buy it for a contract and then sell it to a contractor almost immediately.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you make quick money, and just coming in and out. And you're making like a couple $1,000s just from handling the portion of that transaction. It doesn't even come into your possession as signing everything first. You're just in possession of that contract, and then you sell that contract to somebody else that does the work. That's where
So you said it was pretty hard to get your license in real estate.
Well, it wasn't hard. I didn't end up taking my test just because I didn't need to with my position, with my job. My job position changed, and it just didn't end up being a thing. But I was going to transition out of my current field into real estate, and it really wasn't hard. Most of the stuff is no-brainer stuff, but there is a lot of information that you need to be able to retain to be able to get that.
Because I'm reaching, because it's like, I'm in your same position. My given field, it's like I'm an out of work engineer right now. I can't find a job to save my life, so I'm trying to find another.
So that's what was happening for me. I was a drain cleaner for a while, and it was like the workflow kind of started to even out and then start to dip, and I started to think about, well, I'm really good with my mouth, right, and I'm really good with talking, so why don't I branch into a different, category? And I always thought about selling houses. But the thing is that it depends on the state, right? Rhode Island has a reciprocatory, or I think it's called reciprocatory licensing. So if you
reciprocity.
Reciprocity, right. So if you get your license in Rhode Island, and your firm that you work for also has a branch in Florida, you can transition between selling in Rhode Island and Florida. I'll tell you, in Rhode Island specifically, there are way too many people getting their real estate licenses, and there's not enough houses to sell. So like the MLS system has very minimal amount of houses, especially what's been going on the past couple of years, to be able to sell houses. If you had, let's say you had 30,000 realtors, right? But you had 200,000 houses. That's a good amount. But if you have 30,000 houses and 30,000 realtors, what are you really going to get?
Just selling the house,
What are you really going to get?
That's why you probably noticed this too. Most of the agents around here, they come from Connecticut.
Yeah, right. So it's
and they occasionally do one in Rhode Island, but most of them, they do Connecticut, but occasionally they grab a Rhode Island house.
Like I had a buddy that used to work for us. He left our company and ended up getting his realtor license, and then he ended up moving to Florida. And now the place he works at in Florida has several branches in the surrounding states. So he has Florida's 15, 20 times the size of Rhode Island. He already has a bigger group that he can attain, plus all the other states around it.
Florida's an exodus state right now. Everyone's going to Florida right now. So I
don't like mosquitoes, so no thanks.
The weather moved up here.
Yeah, the weather moved up here.
It's like, it's not only a heat down there, but it's humidity as well. It's like, I've been down to Florida a couple times, and my friend says, why don't you move down to Tampa? And no, thanks.
The whole Florida thing, I think my mother's got the grab on it. She's retired. She's this, she's that. I'll keep her age out of it. I said, Mom, why don't you guys move to Florida? She's, why am I going to move to Florida? Be like moving back to Pawtucket. Everybody I know moved down to Florida. She's like, it's the same people I moved to get away from all moved to Florida. I'm going to move in with them.
It's a high school reunion.
Yeah, I tried getting into Del Boca Vista, but they wouldn't take me.
I had a buddy of mine who my old job, he worked with me for a long time, and he retired and he moved to the Villages to go play golf. And he loves it, but I'll tell you a quick story about him. He's very smart, but he's very, I don't want to say easily fooled, but put it this way. He was one of the first guys. He was one of the cord cutters. I'm going to get rid of cable, he says. I hate paying my cable bill. It's okay, what are you going to do? Well, I got to watch this show, so I got to subscribe to this. And I'm not in a great spot, so I got to boost up my internet so I can stream this, and I got to watch that. But I got this TV, so I got to buy this adapter. I'm like, haven't you figured out you're not going to outwit like a multi-billion-dollar company to do what you want to do?
See, I don't watch enough shows on regular TV to really warrant. I mean, I only watch The Walking Dead on AMC, and I go to my brother's to watch that. I cut the cable in 2017. I got a Fire Stick, didn't turn back. Dave can tell you about Tubi TV. I mean, you watch all the old shows and the best library of horror movies anywhere. And then you get Pluto TV. You watch 24/7 Mystery Science Theater.
Love it.
I mean, that's a win right
on,
there.
not on Tubi. That's on
No, that's on Pluto.
Pluto. Yeah.
Mystery Science Theater comes on Comet once in a while too.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good. It's good. I think
You can watch 24 hours of Hell's Kitchen, 24 hours of Bar Rescue.
Yep.
Bar Rescue. That's a good show.
My buddy told me that the guy on Bar Rescue, like 60 or 65% of those bars within like 6 months go on it, and he buys them.
Shit the bed.
Yeah.
He buys them.
Well, they kind of overstate what he does on the show, because what he does in real life is just a bar consultant. In real life, he doesn't put any money into the bar or anything. They hire him as a consultant. And he just says, you got to do this, do this, do this.
Right.
Part of the show is they give him a budget to, fix up the bar and stuff.
Oh, the show's fake.
Well,
Yeah,
I like
definitely.
I like it for one reason, because it's so, you're absolutely right. It's obvious. It's like every fixer-upper show. I had to convince somebody once in a while that Homes and Garden is owned by Bank of America. So all these home improvement shows are so you go get a loan from Bank of America, do all this stuff to your house. And it's like, oh, this lady's a genius. No, she's not. She just went and bought all the best stuff and said, put the best stuff in your house. And of course your house is going to look great. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, he did Marley's in down by Iggy's.
Oh, no
Warwick. Yeah, so I mean, like they actually fix it up and stuff, but a lot of the confrontations and stuff that's
all
where the
fake.
fakery comes in.
TV.
Yeah,
Otherwise, you wouldn't watch it.
yeah.
You got to put a door on the bathroom. No, I don't want to put a door. You know what I mean? It's like that absurd.
Being
It's
on
not
the floor in
that.
here forever.
Larry Talbot, Joe took the night off. He was feeling like he needed the rest. He had a hard week, and I said a hard weekend, I should say. And I told Joe enjoy his
Larry
night off.
Talbot, that was lunch.
Yeah, from Leave It to Beaver,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
No, not leave. It was.
No, that was Larry Mondello and Leave It to Beaver.
Oh no, yeah. Who was
It was Larry Tate on
Talbot
Bewitched.
was the Wolfman.
He was the
wasn't
Wolfman.
it?
Ron King Jr. and the Wolfman. Larry Talbot.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
That was the character's name. Yeah, that's right.
On the Wolfman. What was that from?
The Wolfman. The show.
Oh,
the movie
Yeah,
Wolfman.
with Lon Chaney Jr. Yeah,
Really?
Yeah. Well, think about horror
yeah,
movies.
that was his name, Larry Talbot. Yeah.
Larry Talbot.
Who's
Yeah, I
Talbot?
know that.
Who's Talbot on Leave It to Beaver though? There was someone last name was it Gilbert?
Gilbert Talbot. Yeah.
Gilbert Talbot.
Yeah.
Talbot. I mixed up with Larry Mondello.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Larry
Good stuff.
Talbot had gonorrhea. Hey, Ben Tom's here.
Larry
wow.
was mentioned in the beginning that he wasn't going to be on. Clap for the Wolfman RL is the worst song.
Yeah.
All right. So Warren Zevon. What do you think, Dave?
Don't like him.
No.
I do.
It's not my kind of stuff. Some woman came up to me on a Saturday night, and she says, "Can you play a Warren Zevon song?" And I'm like, "Which one do you have in mind?" She named some song. I'm like, "Is that a real song?" I have no idea. I
Rolling the
wouldn't know
Headless
anything.
Thompson Gunner.
That was it.
Yeah. Yeah. Every time someone hears that title, everyone's there. What the fuck's that title?
I was like, "Is that a fucking song?"
Well, he was nuts. That's the thing. People
That
were
is
nuts.
terrible, RL. Actually, not too bad.
Yeah, he used to hang
Ben
out with
Thompson.
Hunter S. Thompson.
You ever hear? Well, you've heard the song "Excitable Boy." You ever hear the
Yeah.
lyrics of
Yeah.
that song?
Oh yeah. Rubbed the
That's-
pot roast on his chest, bit the
Yeah.
usheress in the dark,
Yeah.
made a cage out of her bones,
Yeah.
Yeah.
killed her and raped her and made a cage out of her
That
bones.
song is "Lonely Boy" by Andrew Gold. He was born on a winter day. Oh, come on, Rosie. I'm not a Zevon fan.
I think you got to be in the mood for him, and I like him.
Look, I'm not saying you shouldn't like him. I'm just saying it doesn't move me. Send lawyers, guns, and money. When I hear him, I'm just like, yeah, I'll change the channel.
Oh, see, I don't change the channel.
But what do I know? Bob Dylan, according to Rolling Stone magazine, is the #1 songwriter of all time.
Well, yeah.
I can't listen to one fucking song by him, but apparently to them,
Mm.
Well, I'll take Zevon over Bob Dylan, definitely. Because
Yeah,
I'm not
Derek
huge
Trucks is a
Dylan
great
fan
player.
either.
oh,
Yeah, he wrote
you
"Keep
see
Me
what
in
Larry
Your Heart" near
Talbot
his
wrote?
death.
Larry Talbot says that's how he got the nickname. He was the only kid
Oh.
in school with a full beard. Most kids could only grow peach fuzz. So that was his name, Larry Talbot.
I'm surprised I didn't end up with that. I was growing a beard at 15.
Nice. That's another thing. Try to think of a scary movie today. You can't.
Oh, that's not true.
A good scary movie? Yeah, it's tough to come by something original. I mean, the first couple of Saw movies in the 2000s, I liked. I liked the premise, but
about that too. But like, that's not scary. That's almost that outside of it being
body horror.
Right. It's visceral.
Yeah, it relies on gore and stuff like that.
Like the woman in black, or what are those other ones? The I can't remember the name of this.
What's the best horror from the 70s?
70s. Ooh, Halloween, yeah. Carpenter, Halloween.
Black Christmas. You ever see Black Christmas?
Oh, yeah.
No.
That's
that
a
was
good
good.
one. What's her name's in that? Was it one of her first movies? Olivia Hussey? She's in that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, who else was in there? That was
A couple in there. It was their first movie. Yeah, Black
but
Christmas.
there was also that one.
We saw that in the theater, RL.
The original Tales from the Crypt movie in the 70s there. With Joan Collins.
Yeah, with the Santa Claus. That was good.
Yeah.
That was
What about
good.
Trilogy of Terror?
That was good.
Oh, Karen Black. That the other two stories were so, but the one with the Zuni fetish doll scarred me when I was a kid. Yeah. Oh my God.
That thing was all free. Remember the trolls that they put in the pencil, you go like that, and their hair would go like that? That's what that thing reminded me of.
That's what it looks like.
I like that movie.
The original Texas Chainsaw was excellent too.
What year was Omen 2? Damien Omen 2. What year?
Omen 1 was 76. Omen 2.
So I think it was 78 if Omen 2.
I like Omen 2.
I don't know the year. Good flick. But
Omen 3 was probably 82, I want to say.
One of them.
That's with Sam Neill.
One of them was on my birthday, 6606.
Really?
Oh, that was the remake, yeah.
The original Amityville Horror wasn't bad.
Actually, yeah, that wasn't that with Karen Allen and Brolin.
Carrie was good.
James Brolin. I keep wanting to say Josh Brolin now because his name's all over the place now.
Yeah, 70s horror. I mean, you can get a lot. You can get a lot. There's just ones you don't.
I saw Amityville Horror in. I want to see if these guys know this.
Hold on, Richard. Not the first episode. The second pilot. There was a first pilot in the 60s. Then Columbo's second pilot, Lee Grant was in, and then the first episode is the episode with Jack Cassidy, directed by Spielberg. Go on, continue.
Yeah. Anyways, I want to know if these guys on Mendon Road in Cumberland. I don't know if you remember the old Cumberland Theater. It's a hardware store now. I still remember. That's where I saw the Amityville Horror.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
That scared that. I was like 10, 11 years old when that came out.
There was a movie called Buried Alive, and that was like in the 90s. And that was like the first horror movie I ever saw when my parents were watching. That scared the shit out of me.
What's it called?
Buried Alive.
Oh,
it's about this.
There's an original Hill Have Eyes?
Yeah.
In the 70s?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. Wes Craven.
Yeah. That's actually based on this family. It's a book called Hell's Half Acre. It was from the
great song by Robbie Robertson.
Yeah, but that's based on this family. I don't remember the name, but the book's called Hell's Half Acre. I used to have it.
Yeah, what's his name? Richard Berryman's in the originals. And D. Stone, and everyone knows Richard Berryman.
Yeah.
I'm getting his first name right, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but that was based on these people were broke, so they set up like a little bed and breakfast. And then they would just basically rob people and kill them. So it was like the Hills Have Eyes, that kind of thing. Like, oh, your wagon wheel went flat. Come on in. That kind of thing, you know?
Says one was creepy as a kid. Creepy.
Oh, yeah, that's 80s, though.
It's funny, Brad saying that he's like 10 years younger than me. It's like, that was pretty creepy when it was a teenager, too. He was probably like 6 or something like that when that came out.
Who, me?
The Conjuring was
really Brad.
I believe Prescription Murder is the first pilot. Then they did another pilot, The Ransom, and I'm pretty sure Murder by the Book is the first Columbo
Yeah,
episode.
Conjuring. So that's what I was talking about. There's 3 of them. All of the Conjurings are
Yeah. I actually live not too far from the house. My buddy, my old singer, we used to rehearse in the garage on that property.
Oh wow!
Yeah, we did work.
Does Jaws qualify as a horror film?
Absolutely.
Does what?
Jaws.
Jaws? Yeah.
How about the woman whose 8-year-old baby dies? The woman has an 8-year-old baby that dies. She looks like she could be his great grandmother.
Yeah.
She's supposed to be the mother. She comes in all dressed in black. She looks like she would be on the arm of Abe Vigoda. What are they doing with an 8-year-old?
She was in her late 30s. We looked that up once. I think she was like 38, 39 years old, but she looked like she was 60.
Children of the Corn was definitely fucked up.
But you saw that a lot back then too, and like all the movies and the shows, the parents were like 60 and the kid was like 3.
Yeah.
Like, he's acting up in school again, Martha. Dad, come home. He had to,
Die.
Which I used to get a kick out of Leave It to Beaver. In that Ward would come home, or any of those shows, he'd come home, he's got a suit and tie, he's reading the paper, he's having his pipe, whatever, which is awesome. But I'm like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, my dad would come home, he's in his underwear and his t-shirt, he's all sweaty.
Right.
It's like a totally different type of thing.
My father take off his jeans or whatever he was wearing, pants, hang it on the chair, hanging on doorknob, sit in his friggin' underwear and t-shirt, watching TV with a beer.
Thanks, Rosie. Good having you here, man.
But I'm like, it's 9 o'clock at night. Ward's still got his tie on. I'm like, come on, Ward. Like, what?
And he used to drink Peel's beer. You remember Peel's?
Peel's, of course.
Peel's paint.
Peel's. Oof. Peel's was good because you could get it.
3 sons.
You could
Cheap
get
said The Changeling. I saw The Changeling with my father at that same theater in Cumberland.
Oh, you know who I loved on Leave It to Beaver was Lumpy Rutherford's father, Fred.
Oh, yeah.
Yep,
Well,
Richard Deacon.
Yeah.
Richard Deacon. Yeah, he was great on Match Game. When he's on Match Game and he's got the big open 70s shirt with those huge glasses, I'm like, that guy's a legend.
Well,
Yeah, those guys from the 50s that couldn't make the transition to the 70s without looking ridiculous. I mean, it was
They all
ridiculous
look
to begin
ridiculous.
with the styles, but the older people.
What do you mean? He didn't look ridiculous. He was 2 seats over from Charles Nelson Riley, who happened to look ridiculous. Charles Nelson Riley's in a denim shirt, an ascot, the captain's hat, the pipe.
Yeah, but,
Yeah, Brad, George C. Scott. Changeling.
Yeah, but he's saying it was 1980.
Oh, you know what? You know what scared me as a kid was Darby O'Gill and the Little People. And there's the
Is that a movie?
Yeah, Darby O'Gill and the Little People. And there was
I remember the name, but I mean, the premise doesn't. It's an old movie. I mean, it's like. I think it's a Disney movie, isn't it?
No, the scary. No, I don't think it was a Disney movie. But the scary thing was this thing called the Banshee, and like the premise was like Darby O'Gill found a leprechaun, and he ended up getting into the leprechaun's like lair with all other leprechauns and stole some of their gold. And the Banshee was going to come and take him away. Now I was like, I don't know, 6 or 7.
1959 with Sean Connery.
Oh, it scared the living daylights out of me because my mother would say, like, when I would be bad, that the Banshee's going to come and she'd do this, like, wailing thing. It would scare the living shit out of me. It was terrifying as a kid. Love that movie, though. Anybody seen it or not seen it, go watch it.
I haven't seen it.
Fantastic movie.
I'll tell you what was a good spooky movie when I was, it scared me as a kid, was A Christmas Carol.
Did you shoot your eye out?
No, not Christmas
No, that's
Story. Christmas Carol. When Scrooge first went home and he's like seeing Marley's face in the doorknob, he's hearing noises in his house. I'm like, that freaked me out as a kid,
Oh yeah, the old black and white one was pretty creepy.
Yeah, it was spooky. And then they just made stuff extra spooky back then.
Oh, Fezler just brought up said his first scary movie, The Wizard of Oz. We talked about.
Yep.
This is our villains thing.
So
right.
This is back to our villains thing.
So Krell, I would like your opinion on this because these guys know mine. I think the greatest movie villain, I don't mean bad guy or monster, but movie villain, is the Wicked Witch of the West And I'm basing it on, she says to Dorothy, and I'll get your little dog too. And I'm saying, you got to be one
picking
evil
on the
bastard
dog.
to say that, you know?
Yeah, it's like, and you know, spitting image of Gina Raimondo too.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's
Exactly. Or I take what's her name, the Maxwell House lady over Gina.
Abigail Folger.
Abigail Folger, yeah.
You know what
It's
was
like,
a horror movie
Well-
that like hit big box office was the Black Witch Project.
Blair Witch.
Blair Witch, yeah.
And you know what's funny about that? Nothing fucking happens in that whole movie. Like that's
Hey, Janice.
Oh, something does happen. Heather O'Donoghue gets on my friggin' nerves.
But
Oh,
Something
man.
happened. The
Yeah.
movie theater took $10 out of you, and you sat in the seat like a sucker.
right, crazy box office numbers for literally nothing happening
Right.
except your own imagination.
But I'll light everybody on fire. That movie is the Seinfeld of horror movies. A horror movie that's not scary. Seinfeld's a comedy that's not funny. So there you have it.
Oh, I think Seinfeld's hilarious. I just don't think Jerry Seinfeld's
Jerry's
funny.
not funny. Everybody else on the show is funny. He's not.
I mean,
don't-
he had a few funny lines, but I mean, that's mostly Larry David.
Yeah.
But I love George Costanza on that. That's-
George should have been the show. George and George's parents. Best
Hey,
guy in the
Ian,
show.
welcome,
Bruce
Ian.
Miller.
Ben Tom, I wasn't born in 2006. That was my birthday that year.
2006.
Yeah, he says my son
Yeah,
was
I
born.
know. Hey, you don't look 16.
Yeah.
2006.
I may be born
I mean, I
again,
lost my
but I
parents.
wasn't born
Yeah,
again.
he was talking
Yes.
about when the Omen remake came out on 666.
Yeah. I always thought that was cool too. You know, as a kid, having my birthday be 666 was mind blowing to me. It was so sick. Everybody else called me the devil, but I didn't even care. Return to Oz. Never saw it.
Return to Oz. I didn't see it.
Never saw it.
Yeah,
I
that
never
that
saw
was that Fairuza Balk in that, Brad? Played Dorothy?
Fairuza Balk. You're talking about the girl from The Craft, right? That's her
Yep.
name? Yeah, she was hot, man. Now we're talking about hot chicks and like creepy
Yeah,
movies.
there was a time when she was really hot. You know, the
Well,
Vicky Valancourt
Waterboy.
hot. But it's
Waterboy.
like,
She's in
Yep.
Waterboy. She's
Right.
Vicky
I
Valancourt.
saw Vicky Valancourt's boobies.
I like them too. Oh my god.
But there came a time where she just started looking weird.
Yeah, I mean, you know what's
I
funny?
agree with RL on this one. She was never hot.
Oh, she was totally hot.
Oh,
She was
RL?
Island to Dr. Moreau, when that's the first time I ever saw her in there. And I thought she
The
was very
remake.
good looking in that. Yeah.
That was a
All right,
remake.
well, we're limited on time, and of course we're going to have you guys. You guys are welcome back anytime. You guys let me know, and for sure. But what I'd love to see is to see some of your guitars back there to show.
Oh,
This, and I'll make your screen the main screen, guys.
all right. What do we got first? We got the Schecter Omen Extreme. Love that.
Okay, we got a
Omen.
Floyd on this one.
Oh yeah, got
See the headstock.
Yeah.
That's gonna have that Schecter
Okay.
headstock.
Let's see that. Let's see the back. What
Six and
what is the
six.
back?
What the
Oh, like that. I just want to see the plate. Is that a World Manufacturing one? What does it say on the back there? It's got some writing.
Schecter Guitar Research from Sun Valley, California.
Oh, okay. Very cool. Nice guitar.
Schecter
Oh, I love
makes
the
good
Event
stuff.
Horizon. Do you see?
Yeah.
Do you
Oh
see?
yeah, that was a good horror movie.
Did you ever see that one, Chuck?
We got a Gibson Les Paul.
Event Horizon.
Wait,
Okay, this is a Les Paul. Looks like a. Let me see it. The front. Let me see the guitar.
It's studio.
Yeah, like with a carved top, like a. Interesting.
I inherited this one actually. I don't play it, that's why it's dusty. I'm not
See?
a Les Paul person. I never have been. They're just heavy guitars.
Yep. Oh, another one on the case.
Oh yeah, this is
Looks
the
like another
baby-
Schecter.
This is my Hellraiser. I always play this. This is my go-to. Love playing.
All right.
this.
I like the inlays. That's a Schecter as well.
Yeah, that's a Hellraiser.
That's the
All
one.
right.
What's his face did, and I keep forgetting his name. That tall, blonde guitar player. That
That's it as far as guitars. I got a bass. I mean, I bought a 5-string. Just
Nice.
because I wanted to have a 5-string.
Ibanez.
With. Yeah. Yep. Ivan
All
has
right.
Geo.
Yeah.
But
Very cool.
yeah, we're building the studio. It's a work in progress.
Yeah.
Little by
Now, what
little.
is that room? What part of the house is that room? Because somebody thought you were in a garage. I thought you were
No,
like
it's
in a
my
basement.
basement. Actually, it's my basement, and actually on the other side of that wall is another room. And the plan is that we're going to bust down a section of that wall and put in a soundproof window. So the other side is going to actually be the recording portion of it.
Oh,
And then
nice.
This is supposed to be the practice section of it, but it started turning into my gaming room and
Right.
one
And cigar room.
yeah. So we don't know what this room's going to actually be.
And you can smoke in here.
Yeah, and you can smoke in here. So.
Yeah. It's nice. I'm jealous.
Yeah,
I'll be smoking with you guys tomorrow night. I don't know if Krellbar is going to make it down, but I'll definitely be there.
We'll
tomorrow
see.
night.
We'll see. If not tomorrow, one of these Tuesdays.
It's a good time. It's a good
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. What time you getting there tomorrow? Like 7 or before 7? You get
Sometimes,
there,
well, I'll be honest. If it's a heavy day, sometimes we get there like right around 6:30. If it's a really slow day, which it has been, we're there like at least twice in the day. So sometimes we're there at like 1 o'clock, and then we come back over at 6.
We do the double dip.
Yeah.
all right, well, then I'll try to get there a little earlier because I'll leave at 6. I've been trying to get there. Take me there at 6.
6:30.
See, Stevie can walk home, so he breezes in
Yeah.
whenever. I'm like, Stevie, we got to be at the shop 6:30.
He stays until the end. Can't do that.
You know, I can't breeze in at 8.
You're that close to the Ash?
Stevie is. I'm not.
Oh no, we're
I'm not far, but
Right.
I mean, like I said, Stevie lives kind of kitty corner to it.
about a half an hour from me.
Oh yeah. He walks sometimes.
But I mean, he can walk, so he gets there at 8. He's like, "Where you guys going?" I'm like, dude, I got to get up in like 6 hours. I can't. you know.
Right. Yeah. Remember that time he drove by? We're like, where the hell is he going?
He didn't know
Unreal.
it. So yeah, no, we're
Yeah, I
definitely.
just hope it might be solemn there tomorrow. I'm sure they'll have Sean's pictures up or whatnot. That
We're
guy
gonna go there
that
when
passed.
there's food. Like the last time I ate there was when they had the cigar dinner and they had that barbecue thing.
Oh, that was
But-
good.
What's
good.
messed up is that every time
I
I
hated
go,
this.
I see the menus on the tables and I'm starving because I
Right.
always and then I see the menus and I'm like, oh, that would be delicious. And then I ask and they're like, oh, well, he's not here tonight.
Hey, he was there. You guys were talking to him. That's why he wasn't cooking.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
What did you guys think? What did you think of those Southern Draw cigars that night?
You didn't like him too much.
I wasn't crazy about them. to
Oh,
be
I
honest.
hated them.
Yeah.
I would never smoke that cigar
I
again.
mean, I'm not a connoisseur of cigars, to be honest.
Well,
And
I just asked if you liked it. I mean, everyone has their own taste.
More and more so, but not really. I mean, I still have it. Like,
Oh, that's the good one, and I didn't like that one
I
either.
know. You know what? I smoked all the other two, but that's been sitting in my car since then.
I think
Yeah.
they got the grass cigar that's priced higher.
You do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not bad. They're not bad, but you're not going to breeze in this. I got to get my hands on one of these.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, we brushed on Paul Sorvino, Jay, a little bit. Yeah, you know what? What I smoked today was a La Gloria Cubana Serie R Maduro.
You were talking about the Cubanas.
The Serie R and the natural and the Maduro, that's a great smoke. You would like it. It's right up there. In fact, the non-Maduro, to me, is the exact same cigar as that. What's the one you turned me? It's the Salvation from
Black Label.
Black Label.
Black
yeah.
Label.
Anything
It's a
Black
black-
Label, I'm all about it. Love it. Love it.
Yeah, basically, the La Gloria Cubana Serie R natural tastes just like to me. It could be the same cigar. I wouldn't know.
Well, they probably both got some Nicaraguan in them. I believe
Oh, yeah.
Black Label stuff's all Nicaraguan.
Yeah.
I believe. I could be wrong. Like Don would know better. Or Steve, well, Carl definitely would know better.
I want a
Yeah.
cigar that goes with
So-
barbecue sauce. That would be great. That was Elroy. That was funny.
They have a cigar that tastes like hot sauce, which is terrific, but it doesn't get off your lip. So you got to really want to have some.
That's
hot
not
sauce,
so terrific.
You know.
All right, so tomorrow night we'll talk about when you guys can come back on and when you guys want to do this again.
This was a fun time.
That was fun.
Absolutely.
Fun
Oh, yeah,
time.
quick 2 hours.
Yeah,
It did go
we
by
loved
quick.
it. We loved it. I want to thank everybody in the chats for coming out. I want to thank Brad, the guitarist. And Brad, I'd like to have you come on and tell me which Monday you'll want to come on. I'd love to have you back on and catch up with you. I haven't seen you in a long time. It's been such a long time.
Yeah, for some reason he doesn't pop up on my feed anymore. He used to come up on my feed.
He just said,
on YouTube.
he said tonight was the first time I popped up on his feed.
Yeah.
I know you just mentioned Boston. He hates Boston.
Yeah.
Boston and Journey, man. If you want to like
come on.
Cruel and Unusual, Boston and Journey, man. The only
like Journey. Boston I've had enough of.
Boston and Journey. The only reason guys listen to them is if the girl they're with wants to listen to them.
I think Escape's a good album. Come on.
Yeah.
But it did come out in the 80s, and I did say I was a fag in the 80s. Thank you.
Yeah, I
Fagula.
can't with it.
A fagula.
Same reason I don't roller skate anymore. You know, I just can't do it.
I'd probably say I never roller skated.
Out in the
Attempted a couple
corner
times when I
with my roller skates. All right, everyone, listen, I want to thank everybody for coming and watching the show tonight. I want to thank my two guests, Ryan Leary, Chuck Scherza. Great guys. Great to have them on here. We'll have them welcome anytime. Lots of good stuff to talk about. I want to thank Krellbach for being here. Also, Krellbach came over the house. He came over the roost yesterday. We smoked a couple of cigars, me, him, and Krell Bro. And I'll see you guys all next week.
All right.
And as always, do you guys want to say anything before you go? Anyone else want to say something? Or
let's do it again.
Let's do it again.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's do it again. Had a lot of fun.
All right. Very good. All right, everyone. Very good.
Okay, goodbye, Ted.
Goodbye.